Okay, so I'm real excited. We are ready to start Unit 4. So let's just kind of prep the first few pages. There's not really any instruction that needs to happen for those. They're just resources. So our first page has our big 4 on it, however you want to make it, and your tab that lists the different things that we're going to do. The unit is called Champion Teas. It is going to be algebra, mostly standard 3. I did throw in just a little bit of standard 1. If you want to pause the video and copy my page and write these things down, this says inequalities, real world problems, properties, referring to work with order of operations. So the next page would be just your operations vocab page. Operations meaning add, subtract, multiply, and divide, and the words that go with those. So you have a sheet that sections it for you, organizes, and I even printed out the most common terms. So if you're reading a problem that says a number is the quotient of X and -5, and you don't know what quotient means, you could look it up on your slip and say, oh, quotient means divide. So you're going to cut these out, and then you're just going to place them in the correct spot. They're very easy to place because the first word, subtract, would follow, add, addition, multiply. Do need to add a term. We've already learned that change means to subtract. When we did percent of increase and decrease, remember it was change over original equals percent over 100, where change was where we subtracted the price. So if you see the word change, what is the change in temperature from -4 to 7? You would know you would need to subtract those values. Then the next page is going to be this sheet here. You're going to trim it out and glue it down. And this is where the instruction will take place. We are going to talk about one-step equations. And the really good news is this is stuff that you actually learned last year in 6th grade and tested on. So this is 100% old material that you've done recently. So just this page would serve as a reminder. I also wrote out the steps and how you solve a one-step equation simply in 1, 2, 3 steps. So let's work the example problem. Draw a line down the equal sign, okay? What that does is it separates two sides of your equation to keep it balanced. Drop the equal sign, because this will be where my answer is, and draw a total line. I already did that. Step 2, box the expression. Expression means the side that has the variable. Circle and bring down the variable. Variable is your letter. I'll bring it down here so my answer will say X equals and then a value. Then finally, I'm going to perform the inverse operation on both sides. Now, this is where it's important that you write down all the things I do. To know what an inverse operation is, you need to know that that means the opposite. Trust me now when I tell you that. Later in this school year, you'll understand what I mean when I say opposite, probably better than when I say inverse. So the opposite of add, you would solve by doing subtract. The opposite of multiply, you would solve by doing divide, and vice versa. It goes both ways. The opposite of subtract is add, and the opposite of divide is multiply. So we're going to do the opposite operation on both sides. Well, this is what's happening here. A number next to a variable. If you don't know, that means multiply. 3 times a number. So the opposite of times is divide. And I'm going to show my divide with a fraction line. I'm going to divide by 3 because 3 divided by 3 cancels out and just makes 1x. But if I divide by 3 on this side of the equal sign, I've got to divide by 3 on that side of the equal sign. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. And a negative divided by a positive is a negative. So my answer is X equals -4. I like to box in my answers. So let's do one problem each of an add, subtract, a multiply, and divide, and see how we do. Now, if you think that you've got this, a fun thing to do might be to pause the video, work this problem out, then play the video and see if you got it right. If you're still not sure, just work along with me, pausing as you need to. Step 1, draw a line down the equal sign and drop the equal sign. Draw a total line. Step 2, box the expression. It means the part all the way to the equal sign with the variable, and then circle and bring down your variable. Step 3, perform the inverse or opposite operation on both sides. So this was an addition. The opposite of addition, of course, is subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 15. What's 15 minus 15? That's right. So 0 plus x would just be x. But if I subtract 15 on this side of the equal sign, I need to subtract 15 on that side of the equal sign. 24 minus 15 is 9. So my answer is x equals 9, and I like to box in my answer. Now, at this time, I'm going to take a break and show you, yes, I'm writing with a pen. That is because I'm making a video. I hope all of you are writing with pencil only. If you need to borrow one, do it, but write with something that you can erase and still have a neat paper. Let's go to our subtraction equation. Remember, what's the opposite of subtraction? That's right, addition. So, step 1, I'm going to draw a line down the equal sign, drop the equal sign, and draw a total line. Step 2, I'm going to box the expression all the way to the equal sign, including my variable, then circle and bring down my variable. Then I'm going to perform my opposite operation. So if this says minus 4, I'm going to add 4 to both sides. Now, you do have to know your integers. We've said that over and over again, and we've practiced it a lot this year. When signs are different, that's right, you subtract and take the sign of the bigger number. So my answer was negative 16. And I'm going to box in my answer. Let's look at our multiplication. Draw a line down the equal sign and drop your equal sign. It does say draw a total line. I usually don't when it comes to multiply and divide. It just gets in the way. Then I'm going to perform the inverse operation. Oh, it does say box and bring down the variable. Okay, now perform an inverse operation. This means to multiply. Okay, do you remember how we did this one here? It was multiply, so we divided. Well, that's what we're going to do here. 37 times d, we're going to divide by 37, whatever number is with your variable. Okay, and then do you know what 111 divided by 37 is? I don't know right off my head, so let's use the calculator. 111 divided by 37. It's 3. I probably could have reasoned that out. And it's a positive divided by a positive, so our answer is just positive. And our last one, a division. So we're probably going to solve by, you're right, multiplying. Let's bring down our equal sign. I can bring down my variable, and to get variable alone, I need to get rid of this divide by negative 5. So I'm going to multiply by negative 5 on both sides. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 is just 1, positive 1r. And 7 times negative 5 on this side, 7 times 5 is 35. Positive times a negative is a negative. All right, so we've worked one problem of each. Let's quickly talk about a couple of other things that you're going to see. You're going to see word problems that just has a description of what you're to do. That's where our operations vocabulary could come in handy. So this problem says 3 more than a number is negative 12. Your is your equal sign. If this says is negative 12, it means equals negative 12. But now we need to write this operation. 3 more than a number. So I got 3. I bet you probably know this, but let's look. What is more than? Here it is. More than means add. So 3 plus n. Let's look over here. If an elevator starts on the 3rd floor and ends up 3 floors below ground, how did it move? I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to let you answer these 2 questions at the end of the video. Good luck.